As you know, the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction will pay for AP exams for two categories of public school students enrolled in an AP course who then take their respective AP exam. The two categories are students who are low income and qualify for the fee reduction, and those students who are not low income but attend a public school and are enrolled in the respective AP course. Please note that the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction will not pay for AP exams taken by private school students, homeschool students, or students who were not enrolled in the AP course in which they took their exam. The following webinar will go through the process of submitting your AP exam invoice so that your district will get their exams paid for by the state. Step 1 is to log in to the AP exam ordering website at the URL you see here. That is collegeboard.org/AP ordering. You can then sign in where the red arrow points on the sign in button. So as you can see on the slide, step 2 is to generate your invoice. So when you get to this page, you'll click on the Generate Invoice link. In step 3, you will start to generate your invoice. Now it's important to realize that on the screen you'll see a due date for that invoice of June 15th, but we have a unique deadline in North Carolina. Our deadline is actually May 31st of 2019. We realize that this is a bit earlier than the national deadline, but there's a good reason for this. We are required in North Carolina to have an earlier deadline because the state needs time to pay the invoice and they have to adhere to their budget year required for all state expenditures. So in North Carolina, it is very important that you submit your invoice by this deadline of May 31st. So step 4 is to enter your used and unused exam quantities. Once that data is entered, you'll click Next to move to the following page. But this page you'll fill in just like you have in the past. You'll enter how many exams you used and how many of those exams were not used. Step 5 is to enter your unused and alternate exam credit quantities where applicable. Again, this is the same process as has been done in the past. This hasn't changed this year. So you'll note that if the coordinator enters 0 for unused exams on the prior page, this page will be skipped because there are none. So pretty self-explanatory, I think. You'll see some explanation here on the side next to each number. You know, unused exam fees are not charged if a student unexpectedly missed the operational exam administration and instead tested during the alternate window. So something to always keep in mind. And the $45 alternate exam surcharge is not incurred if the student doesn't actually take the alternate exam. So another important reminder. Okay, now step 6 is where we find differences this year for North Carolina. So this is very specific to our state. This will differ from what you've done in the past. So this is really where this webinar comes in to help hopefully clarify this for you. So there are going to be two categories of students. Okay, and you'll see we're talking about option 1 fee reduction and option 2 fee reduction on the screen. This really has to do with low income students and non-low income students. So the category 1 or option 1 students are those students who qualify for the College Board's fee reduction. You can find that eligibility criteria at our fee reductions for AP exams link that you'll see on the page. So what you'll see here are the boxes that you need to fill in for your number of used exams. So in this example on the screen, that was 100 exams. The number of unused exams in this example was 10. So then out of the 100, you must report first, I'm in option 1, fee reduction, the number of used low-income exams that are eligible for the College Board fee reduction. Keep in mind, this first quantity may include homeschool students, private school students, and students who were not enrolled in the corresponding course. But those students will be paying you for their exam, right? Those three categories of students. Only the public school students who were enrolled in the AP course will be paying the 50, or will not, the state will pay the $53, right? But if they're a homeschool student or a private school student or a student who wasn't enrolled in the corresponding course, they can still get the fee reduction, and you'll need to report, right, to the College Board that there was a fee reduction, but they will have to pay the school for that. And in the following screen, you'll see where that will be reflected in the costs incurred that the school that you will have to pay to the College Board. So the box under that is the number of used low-income exams that are eligible for the North Carolina public school fee reduction, right? So here is where you do not include the homeschool students, the private school students, and their students who were not enrolled in the corresponding course. So in this example, all of the students were in the corresponding course and they were at a public school. So the numbers are the same. But if you had, let's say, 2 kids who were homeschoolers who came and sat for an exam in your school, and you had ordered an exam for them, that number would then be 18 if they were low income. So I hope that's clear. The first box is anyone who got a fee reduction, including all of those other cases. That won't happen often, but certainly I know it does happen. And as a College Board person, I will tell you we are grateful to you for hosting those other students who may have sat for an exam. So that first box under College Board fee reduction will reflect the total amount of children who got a fee reduction, who took an exam at one of your schools, and then the state fee reduction, or at your school, I should say, since this is probably, you are probably an AP coordinator at a school. But for the state fee reduction, that box needs to only be for the public school students who sat in a corresponding AP exam to the course they were enrolled in, okay? All right, and then the last box on this page is where you will enter the number of used non-low income exams that are eligible for the state to pay. So out of this example, there was 100 used exams, 20 had a fee reduction, so that left 80 that did not. So basically you're just going to subtract, right, the number of fee reductions you had from the whole to get the option 2 fee reduction. So this is for all of the kids who did not qualify for the College Board fee reduction, but again, the state is going to cover that cost. Please note in red it says here, the quantity entered here in this last box will also be used to determine the number of exams eligible for the $9 per exam North Carolina school rebate. So for the students who are non-low income in option 2, the state of North Carolina will pay $94 per exam, which is the total cost of an AP exam this year, with $85 being paid to the College Board and $9 being returned to the school in the form of a school rebate, which is shown here in red. In step 7, you'll review and submit your invoice. So you'll see some red arrows here. The first shows you where you can edit your invoice. If you need to make any adjustments at any time, you can always edit here. In that case, you'll go ahead and click that edit invoice, and then you can return to step 4 and just go through your numbers and make any adjustments. If your invoice then looks correct, you're ready to submit your invoice. Please remember, it's required that you do this final step by May 31st of this year. Even though the published deadline for AP coordinators in other states to submit their invoices June 15th, we do have this unique invoice deadline in North Carolina of May 31st, which must be met. The consequences of not submitting your invoice by May 31st is that your district will become responsible for these fees, and the state of North Carolina will not pay them after the fact. So please understand, once their budget year closes at DPI for this current school year, they will not pay your invoice dues late. So it is critical that you adhere to this deadline. The final step is to print your invoice and keep one copy for yourself in your records and mail the program copy to the AP program with any payments that your school may owe for those fees we've discussed. To print your invoice, you click the Print Invoice button here that you'll see with the red arrow pointing to it. Payment for any fees not covered by the state should be made payable to AP Exams and mailed with your invoice to College Entrance Examination Board, P.O. Box 21535, New York, New York 10087-1535. Again, no need to send a copy to the Department of Public Instruction. They don't want that. Rather, you can keep both the school copy and the state copy in your files for your records. So those are the differences this year. Not too difficult, we hope. We certainly don't want you to struggle in this process, so we have trained our customer service team on this process specific for North Carolina Public Schools. So please feel free to call 877-274-6474 if you need any assistance. It is important when you place the call to identify yourself as a educator in a North Carolina public school and that you have questions on our specific process. We want to thank you for all the work you do to support your school's AP program. We could not do this work without you. You are such an important partner to all of us in the College Board, and it's just our pleasure to work with you. So please let us know if we can be of any assistance. Thank you.